My guest today is Wildlife Division Chief Casey Anderson, and we're going to talk about the recent spring blizzard and how our state's wildlife fared. I'm Mike Anderson with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Welcome to the program, Casey. Casey, the spring blizzard we just had is what we always talk about. How did our state's wildlife fare during this blizzard?
Yeah, so this blizzard was, in spots it was pretty bad. I mean, we had a lot of snow, but the temperatures weren't real cold. Sometimes you get spring blizzards and you're, below zero, especially with wind chills and things like that. But for the most part, we were, in that teens to 20s. We had one night that got a little colder. So there will be some wildlife that were caught off guard. Obviously, some of them had started to disperse a little bit. But the nice thing is we've had a pretty good winter so far in the majority of the state, especially the areas that got hit by the blizzard, didn't have the winters that even the southeast did. And so those animals should have been in decent condition coming into this blizzard, which is going to help them survive through this little short stretch of adverse weather that we just got.
Sure, and some wildlife do better than others during these type of conditions.
Yeah, so you've got obviously your long-legged things, native species too. We talk about pheasants a lot. Well, pheasants aren't a native species, and so sometimes they can really get caught off guard by some of these. But as of now, we haven't heard a whole lot of reports coming in as far as, people finding pheasants or things like that. And so, deer, they had the ability to move around, probably, blessing and a curse, there was wind with this, so it kept some of the hilltops and things open. Deer will be able to move into cover if they can find it.
So the warm temperatures certainly helped out during these blizzard conditions.
Yeah, and it was early enough that we probably didn't have much nesting going on. There's maybe a few Canada geese that were starting to nest, and they'll do pretty good. They're kind of resilient buggers. And then maybe some turkeys that were starting to nest, and they may lose their nest because of this blizzard, but it was early enough that they should have an opportunity to re-nest.
Okay, how about migrating birds, Casey? This is the time of year where we get a lot of migrating birds coming through our state.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody was outside, but you notice the snow geese and the Canada geese looked like they were deciding to go south for a little bit, about Wednesday or Thursday. And so yeah, they have the ability to move around, obviously, so they'll probably fare a lot better. When you get into some of the smaller species that migrate and have to stop, songbirds and things like that, you're gonna probably find that they got stuck in it a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about the positives from the moisture and the spring blizzard.
Yeah, so it's moisture we need desperately in much of the state. And so this will really give, the ground was mostly thawed already. There's maybe some spots that had some frost, but at least the top portion of the ground was thawed. So some of this should soak in fairly nice. So that's really going to give us a good kickstart as this thaws now and starts to green up. Maybe we'll actually see green in June this year.
And right before this blizzard, Casey, we were worried about fire conditions around the state. With turkey season going on, that's kind of minimized that.
Yeah, that'll definitely help the fire issue. And of course, once this melts away, it'll take a green up really to remove that fire issue altogether. Once it dries up, we start getting that green flush, that'll really help. But yeah, it's going to help those areas that did have fire problems last year really come back, and also suppress a lot of the fire issues that we were concerned about as we come into spring.
So overall, the state's wildlife did okay during this spring blizzard.
Yeah, they should have done fairly well, mainly because they probably weren't as stressed as a normal winter coming into it. And so they should have had decent reserves to maybe handle a short stretch like this and maybe get the moisture we need.
A lot of great information, Casey. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.